Toronto Regionals, everyone, and we have one more special match for you. We're going to give some love to the senior division, and it looks like we have Parth versus Zane.
I don't know too much about either of these players, so I'm not going to really talk about their accomplishments, but first things first, congratulations to both of them for getting into the finals.
Absolutely. Good job, guys.
But let's talk a little bit about the matchup. We're going to get right into it. We have on Parth's side, Tapu Koko, Kartana, Tapu Fini, Arcanine, Porygon 2, and Gigalith.
Zane is going to be bringing Drifblim. This is the first Drifblim I think may have been on stream unless I wasn't here for one. We also have the Pheromosa, Garchomp, Tapu Koko, Tapu Lele, and Neoligo.
So in this matchup, it's really interesting. We've seen a lot of this Drifblim Lele ever since Shade Vieira used it a couple of months ago. It's a really interesting team because Drifblim activates its Seed in the Psychic terrain, so it loses its item, boosts its special defense, and then gets that Unburden ability where it doubles its speed if it doesn't have an item. So it's going to be able to get up super fast Tailwind, super fast Will-O-Wisp. It's a great support Pokemon. Parth, on the other hand, is running a very standard fake PG team that we've talked about.
Of course, the Arcanine Tapu Fini Kartana core is very good, but it's also very predictable.
Yeah, so we're going to see Zane lead off with Drifblim and Tapu Lele. He's on the bottom of your screen. And Parth lead off with that Kartana and Porygon 2. And I really like this lead from Zane. The Drifblim and Lele are really, really great, but it's scary, right? You're facing down that Kartana and that Porygon 2. Porygon 2 actually going to switch out
Very
for
interesting
Tapu Fini.
play for the switch out there to change the terrain into, Misty terrain. However, it's possible that Kartana can Smart Strike into the Lele, and that was a wonderful play by Parth. Parth switching the terrain, not allowing the Kartana to be able to be Will-O-Wisp, and then Kartana will attack into the Lele. However, the Lele from Zane is very well trained and survives that hit.
Yeah, that was what I was worried about. The Kartana is so powerful, and it really threatened that Tapu Lele. So for that Tapu Fini to switch in, it looks like it's not up on our graphic properly, but Tapu Fini switching in is just so well played. It really prevents any sort of shenanigans that would go on with the Kartana trying to, or with the Drifblim trying to Will-O-Wisp, right?
We do see the Lele decide to stay in play and attack with a Life Orb when it has very low HP. I do think that Zane knew that it would live a Life Orb damage reduction. However, Parth covers the options by going for a Dazzling Gleam. Remember that the Tapu Fini is taunted now, so all it can do is attack, at least temporarily.
For sure. Zane also set up Tailwind, which is going to be really important in this matchup. He only has Drifblim on low health and Pheromosa and one Pokemon in the back. Pheromosa is fine for outspeeding a lot of things, but when it comes to that Tailwind being up, it's really going to allow Zane to do a lot of quick damage, and we can already see that.
Shadow Ball does massive damage into the Kartana, and Poison Jab does big damage into Fini. However, Fini does not get KO'd by the Poison Jab, and this is a surprise to Zane. Smart Strike will take Pheromosa down to the Focus Sash, and Tapu Fini will finish it off with a Dazzling Gleam and KO the Drifblim. Parth knowing his damage calculations there. Very good play.
This is a really good play. Parth has really just ensured every single turn that he's getting good, consistent damage off. He says, I don't care if you set up the Tailwind, I don't care if you Will-O-Wisp, I'm going to ensure that my Kartana is doing a lot of damage, my Tapu Fini is doing a lot of damage, and I'm going to have at least two Pokemon in the back to face down your Garchomp.
Now, if there is a Pokemon that could potentially come back from this, it might just be Garchomp. We'll have to see how Parth wraps this match up, or if Zane can do a miraculous comeback with this Garchomp.
Yeah, for sure. Having the Porygon 2 in the back is already a pretty solid indication that Parth is really ready to take down this thing.
Yes.
Porygon 2 Ice Beam is very good at doing that.
Especially at +1. The only out that I potentially see is maybe a double critical hit on this Earthquake. And if the Garchomp is carrying the Ground EMZ, it's most likely going to have to attack it to the Porygon 2 right now and hope for a critical hit. I don't think that'll be enough to knock it out.
Yeah, it's a really tough situation for Zane. Hopefully, if he can get a critical hit, he still has a turn of Tailwind, so maybe. But even if he doesn't get the critical hit, that Porygon 2 might be able to set up Trick Room or something.
Here goes the EQ. Even with a crit on P2, we know this isn't going to finish it off. P2 most likely going to Ice Beam and pick up the KO right now and take game 1 for Parth.
Well, he's going to set up the Trick Room just to ensure that Garchomp isn't going to be doing any sort of thing. He can switch back in that Tapu Fini and get both the Tapu Fini's Moonblast and Porygon 2's Ice Beam to really finish off that Garchomp. And I think Parth has really taken this game 1 pretty decisively. If possible, maybe the Garchomp can stall out Trick Room somehow.
See Ground EMZ. Maybe it's a Garchomp with an Assault Vest. I don't know if it would live a +1 P2 Ice Beam, though. I guess it depends on how P2 is trained, to be honest.
Yeah, +1 P2 Ice Beam is going to finish it off, and Parth takes game 1.
Nice job, Parth. Good job. That was, like you said, a decisive win. Now, I don't know if Parth knew exactly, like, I can live a Poison Jab from Pheromosa. However, he very well may, because he had consistent damage every turn, like you said, and it was just too much for Zane to come back from.
One thing I want to see Zane maybe do in the next match is try not to let Tapu Lele get hit so early. Try not to, that Tapu Lele is one of your biggest, most consistent damage outputs under Tailwind. The Pheromosa is great, but bringing it in Tailwind and bringing it to such a bulky matchup, unless you're guaranteeing KOs with Pheromosa, the probability is that you're going to take the brunt of the force, because you're going to lose them on really quickly with Pheromosa.
I agree. Pheromosa is a risky call always, just because of how frail it is. However, it does seem to be the best option to take out the P2 on Parth's side of the field.
Yeah, so I might say it's a really good lead, but not necessarily a great, maybe not great under Trick Room. I could definitely see, and we do see the Pheromosa lead in, really threatening that Porygon 2. The Tapu Lele going to set up that Psychic Terrain, preventing the Tapu Koko from getting up any more, from boosting its damage output.
Yes, and like you were saying, always Pheromosa is a risky call. However, I do think that Zane somehow has managed to find himself in a favorable position right now.
Yeah,
I think the
sure.
Pheromosa covers the P2, and under Psychic Terrain, Lele, with a Life Orb, should be able to knock out that Koko in one shot.
Yeah, I think this is a really favorable position. For Parth, he can reset the terrain with, Protect coming out from Porygon 2. This is a very rare move on Porygon 2.
Absolutely, and that's perfect because High Jump Kick will miss and do huge damage, breaking Pheromosa's own Focus Sash. The Volt Switch will go into the Pheromosa. This should pick up the KO.
And it does.
Unbelievable play.
That is really cool.
Wow.
I haven't seen Protect Porygon 2 in a long time. It can do really cool things like that. If you're threatened by a Pheromosa, it was so critical, in fact, that Parth didn't reveal that in game 1, because had he have revealed it, Zane could have played that differently.
Absolutely.
But now Parth has put himself in an incredibly favorable position compared to just off of that one play with the Porygon 2.
And the Volt Switch changes the terrain from Psychic Terrain to Misty Terrain. That was an incredible play. And once again, we were saying, you can't prepare for what you don't know is there.
Yeah.
You can't put Porygon 2 on Protect. Or maybe you can if you're a world-class player, but I don't see how Zane could have ever guessed that was happening.
Nihilego coming in from Zane's side. It has massive damage output, specifically on things like Tapu Fini. But Gigalith coming in its steed, it is definitely going to be able to tank whatever type of sludge bomb or attack it's going to throw. Although a prediction on the sludge bomb into the Porygon 2 slot might be able to do it here. Power Gem coming out.
Power Gem is a decent play here.
Oh,
it does
wow.
do good damage into the Gigalith. However, taunting into a Tapu Koko who loves to attack really won't do that much.
Yeah, that Power Gem on the Gigalith was surprisingly powerful.
Absolutely.
It was a lot of damage.
Gigalith does, because he is a Rock-type Pokemon, he gets a special defense boost because of the Sandstorm. And Neoligo Maego also gets the special defense boost as well. Tapu Koko goes for a Sky Drop, and Parth's team is very, very interesting. I have to say, he's pulling out these tricks from left and right.
Uh-oh, we see a Z move coming out, and it looks like the Rockium Z from Gigalith. Probably targeting that Neoligo because, as we saw...
With the Sky Drop.
The Sky Drop.
I doubt you would double into that slot, yeah.
If this is able to KO the Neoligo, this Tapu Koko might be able to survive to the next turn. Oh, wow. Neoligo is a great has amazing special defense, decent HP, great speed, but it doesn't have that defense stat. Its defense stat is atrocious. So that Continental Crush, able to pick up the KO, and now Tapu Koko is pretty safe, and Tapu Lele isn't really able to reverse the terrains now.
Tapu Koko will be forced to drop down the Pokemon, though. I don't think Lele wants to eat up an EQ. However, Earthquake may be able to deal with the Koko and the Gigalith at the same time. However, Gigalith oftentimes carries the move Wide Guard, which prevents damage from spread attacks.
Yeah, it's interesting. Wide Guard has been shown a couple of times. I don't know how frequent it is on Gigaliths nowadays. I know some forgo it for Heavy Slam or Earthquake.
Absolutely.
But it can definitely be useful depending on what you're facing. And if you're facing a Garchomp, it's definitely something you want to do. Oh, the Swords Dance coming out from Garchomp.
I really like this play. Zane is saying, you know what, guys? I'm not out of this yet, and I'm going to do everything within my power to try to get a victory. The Swords Dance will power up the Garchomp, making it able to take on the P2, which normally it could not do.
That is a fairly bulky Koko. That was Life Orb Lele Moonblast. Wasn't able to pick up the knockout. Had it have been in Psychic Terrain and maybe used Psychic, it would have, but that is surprisingly bulky. I wonder if, well, part of my inclination is because of Sky Drop. I wonder if Parth's Tapu Koko is maybe a little bulkier.
Yeah, I think I agree with you right there. Now, we know that Porygon 2 has Protect now, so does the Garchomp go for a spread move to hopefully pick up damage on someone?
Garchomp going for the Protect, trying to make sure that Porygon 2 does not go for the Ice Beam.
We do see the Protect come out from the P2 as well. We'll see if P2 could potentially stop an attack. However, the Sky Drop from Sky Drop from Tapu Koko.
Parth is, you know what's interesting? We have the Sky Drop plus Trick Room here. If Tapu Koko picks up an opposing Pokemon, Porygon 2 can set up Trick Room, which means that Tapu Koko drops the Pokemon as the slowest or the fastest Pokemon in Trick Room, making it go last, right?
So yes, that is a really interesting combo. So it can protect
itself for 2 turns that way. It's a really interesting combo and one that is absolutely beautiful. Unfortunately, we didn't actually get to see it because Parth did not use Trick Room, but it's definitely something for Zane to keep in mind in coming games.
Garchomp is at +2. We cannot forget. And we still don't know the item on Garchomp. We suspected that maybe a Salt Vest, because I do believe there was an opportunity in Game 1 to go for the Ground MZ. However, Zane may be concealing data. With the Swords Dance, I have to think that it's a Z Crystal, but I still just don't know.
It can't be a Salt Vest after seeing that Swords Dance. And it does look like it's the Ground MZ. Probably going into that Porygon 2. Maybe wants to double up into it to ensure that it can't do too much damage. Parth wasting that protect from earlier.
Yes, so we know that P2 cannot protect here. His only option, if he wanted to save it, was a switch out. I don't know if a +2 Tectonic Rage will be enough to pick up the KO on P2, but it is. Oh, with the critical hit.
Wow, that was huge.
It was.
That Porygon 2 was one of the main things threatening Zane's Garchomp.
And then this means that if Tapu Lele attacked into the P2 to guarantee the KO, it was redirected to the Koko, knocking out the Koko. Very nice job by Zane, and Zane is not going down easy.
Yeah, for sure. That was... I think Zane really is taking control of this match. He's really shown that, you know what, the Tailwind on the first time maybe wasn't the best choice, but now here with this +2 Garchomp, really setting up, not allowing the Porygon 2 to, you know, set up Trick Room and just playing it really smart and safe. I feel like Zane's really putting himself in an advantageous position to possibly win this game.
Parth has so many different moves. I have no idea if Gigalith is going to choose the wide guard here or not. Tapu Fini should be able to attack into the Garchomp at least once, but Garchomp being +2, it's going to be hard to knock out.
Garchomp going for Protect. It looks like Tapu Lele probably... It does reveal the wide guard. I think Tapu Lele just wants to knock out this Gigalith to prevent that. It's going to go off.
Very good play by Zane. Zane able to keep his composure. He lost game 1 very decisively, and after the turn 1 protect from P2, miss on high jump kick, Volt Switch KO on the Pheromosa, somehow Zane was able to remain in composure and take advantage of the match. Very good job.
Yeah, for sure. This Tapu Fini, it might come down to the Garchomp needing to Earthquake. If that's the case, he needs to knock out his own Tapu Lele, which is not something very desirable.
There goes the EQ, knocking out his own Lele.
We'll see if this can knock out the Tapu Fini, and it doesn't. This might... If Parth can get a Moonblast off, he might be able to knock out the Garchomp. We'll see how much damage this does. Sometimes Tapu Finis carries choice specs, and it is! Oh my god.
What a game!
Parth is the seniors champion for Toronto Regionals. That was incredible. It looks like that was the Specs Fini then.
Yes, that absolutely was Specs Fini. The tournament is over.
I don't know for sure if I don't know my damage calculations, but I assume Moonblast from Tapu Fini cannot KO regular Garchomp in one hit.
Absolutely.
But that was incredible.
You know, I thought that Zane I thought Zane was able to regain his footing in that match, position himself very nicely, but unfortunately, Parth just had his number. I thought that Parth may have wide guard on the Gigalith, only because we had seen things like Protect P2 and Skydrop Tapu Koko.
Yeah.
You know, so I was like, well, why not have the wide guard? You know what I mean? So,
and he did reveal it at the end. Unfortunately, it wasn't a factor in the match because I really do like wide guard as a move. I think it's really cool.
Absolutely, and that was such a great play right before Parth was able to win the Protect on the Garchomp, which I was not expecting to see at all, to counter the wide guard and Moonblast into the Gigalith. You know, great play by both players. And, you know, congratulations, Zane. Congratulations, Parth. And I'm going to go ahead and grab one of these two for an interview, and we'll be right back to hear their thoughts on their match. Everyone for tuning in to Toronto Regionals. We are back. My name is Matthew, and I am alongside Zane. Zane, first off, I want to say congratulations, my friend.
Thank
you really played wonderful. And my favorite play of that entire match was when you scouted the wide guard from the Gigalith, and then you moonblasted into it. You know, and you were playing at the top of your game. So, how was the tournament experience for you? What was it like being in Toronto and playing in this event?
First regionals.
Congratulations! Wow, your first regionals coming in second. My man, that's what I'm talking about.
I live near here, so it's very nice to be here, and you know, I think I played well. And it's a very nice place to be. All the people here are nice.
Well, I'm glad that you had a great time, and like I said, for your first regionals, you played out of your mind. I see you have a Poplio plushie and a Poplio hat. Is that your favorite Pokemon from this generation, or is that your favorite Pokemon of all?
This gen.
Understood. Are you a superstitious player? Do you think that might bring you a little bit of luck when you play or anything like that?
No, I just had it with me.
Absolutely. You know I had to ask. Well, another thing that I want to say is for your first regional, you must be very happy with your finish.
I am.
And how do you, what are the steps that you're going to take to continue to be a better Pokemon trainer? How do you
Practice
improve
more.
from here?
Try to work on team building a bit more.
Absolutely. And, you know, practice is very difficult because there's so many variables that could go into it. But you decided to go with Tapu Lele and Drifblim, and that is a really interesting combination. They work very well. Their abilities play off each other nicely. Are you happy with those two Pokemon on your team?
I am. I think they work well together with Tailwind.
And I suppose the last thing I want to say before I give you the final words are, who was your favorite Pokemon that you used all day today out of your team?
Pheromosa.
And what was the reason why Pheromosa was your favorite?
Every game I brought it to, it usually picked up a few KOs.
Hey, well, that's a reason why to like it, my friend. Well, go ahead and say, you know, Happy Mother's Day or anything else that you'd like to say. You have the microphone until we cut on out.
So Happy Mother's Day. Have a good day. And I think I could have wrapped up that second game by protecting Tapu Lele with the Earthquake.
Okay, well, you know for next time. Congratulations,
you.
man. You did so well.
Thank you.
See you guys soon.
Arth, the winner of Toronto Regional Seniors. Congratulations, man. You played so well in that last set. We saw you take 2 decisive games. Just incredible play. So first off, congratulations.
Thank you.
You know, one thing I really wanted to talk about is in all those matches, it seemed like you really knew your damage calculations. We saw the Garchomp not KOing your Feeny. We saw the just barely hanging on with that Gigalith, just barely hanging on with everything. So what was sort of your thought process in training your Pokemon?
Well, since this was a Trick Room team, I tried to capitalize off of the fact that many of Pokemon on my team are very bulky. So I wanted a Trick Room variant of the team, so I just didn't put EVs into speed so I could survive many attacks like Groundium Z. I think I survived a +2 Groundium Z from Garchomp, Adamant Nature, Shoma's spread.
Wow, that is so that's quite the spreads then, right? The other thing I wanted to point out is you had Protect Porygon 2, which is something we don't see too often, and that really helped you navigate in that second game into a favorable position against the Pheromosa. What led you to decide to put Protect on your Porygon 2?
Since there were not many Gyarados running around that time on Battle Spot, and I've Tapu Koko already to cover Gyarados and Tapu Fini, I didn't really find any use in using Thunderbolt on Porygon 2. So I put Protect on it, and it helps me with the Pheromosa matchup since I really don't have a way to outspeed Pheromosa and KO it quickly.
Yeah.
And usually they want to try to stop you from setting Trick Room, so they would just high jump kick you into Porygon 2 slot, so I'd Protect, and I just hit the Pheromosa slot, and it just fade.
Yeah, for sure. That was really amazing. I also really like that you have Skydrop Coco next to Trick Room Porygon. I've always thought that was a really cool combo. And Skydrop isn't a move that we've seen a ton of. How do you feel about Skydrop in the metagame right now?
Skydrop's not used that much, but when trying to set up Trick Room, there are many taunters, and teams usually only have one taunt or roar Pokemon, so I just Skydrop it, and hopefully it's not heavy to be lifted.
Yeah.
So I just set up Trick Room, then I'd position myself into just sweeping through the opposing teams.
So it's really good against the current meta because there's not a lot of taunt and roar, right?
Yeah.
Additionally, I also wanted to say, if there's anyone you want to give a shout out to.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to my parents for always supporting me, and James Evans, because he helped me through my matchups against all the 5 Swiss rounds and Top Cut, and Quentin Cologne for helping me with the finals match, thinking through the ideas.
Yeah, for sure, man. That was absolutely amazing. You took those games so decisively. You really knew your matchups. You really knew your spreads. It just goes to show you, oftentimes we focus on the Masters, but the seniors have a really high level of play here too, all right, guys? And I'm sure that when you do start graduating into Masters, you're going to be a massive threat to the rest of the competition. Congratulations so much, man. It was wonderful to watch you play, and just wonderful to get to interview you. You really know your stuff about the metagame.
Thank you.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
I believe that's it from Toronto Regionals. We might be back with an outro, but stick around for maybe that. Otherwise, This has been Parth. Congratulations, man, and we'll be back in just a minute.
Thank you.